We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
23.
Hey, what's up you guys? This is Steffi, aka In My Humble Opinion, and welcome back to another IMHO Film Club movie review. So the other day I reviewed The Lion King 2019, and I thought in today's video it would be worth revisiting the OG, the original Lion King from 1994. So in this version of The Lion King voice actors were Matthew Broderick, Whoopi Goldberg, Jeremy Irons, James Earl Jones, who also came back to play Mufasa in The Lion King 2019, by the way, Moira Kelly, Nathan Lane, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, good old JTT, among many, many others. This movie was directed by Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff, and it was written by Irene Mecci, Jonathan Roberts, and Linda Wolverton. So, again, just in case you didn't know what The Lion King was about, this version of The Lion King is the OG one. It's about Simba, a young lion cub who flees his home of Pride Rock after being tricked by his uncle into thinking he killed his father, Mufasa, king of the Pride Lands. He has a bit of an emotional identity crisis, but eventually he learns the importance of his responsibilities and owning who he was all along. So as in all my movie reviews, I'm going to be talking about the pros, the cons, and then I'm going to be giving my overall rating at the very end. So let's get into it. Alright, so the pros. Pro number one, of course, is that iconic opening circle of life sequence. I know it's a meme, but like quite literally, name a more iconic opening sequence. I'll wait. When you watch this sequence, there's just so much beauty in the way that they depicted the African landscapes. And while watching this movie, when you realize that this was all hand-drawn, it just, I don't know, it just makes it even that much more beautiful. The colors are so vivid, the landscapes are breathtaking. Seeing the animals coming together in unity is low-key emotional, and when you have all of that paired with the music, what a way to open your movie. My second pro to this movie is the Mufasa and Simba father-son relationship. I feel like this version of the movie did a really great job in establishing what a close father-son bond that Mufasa and Simba had for one another. And I feel like that's in large part due to the animation, the fact that you could actually see the emotion in the lions' faces, and also the voice acting. Mufasa as a character is written as the ideal father figure. He's a leader, he's a protector, he can be stern at times, but he's still loving. I bet you he's a Leo and he protects his own. And considering all of those traits and characteristics, you understand why Simba loves his dad so much, and you could tell that Simba really, really respects and loves his dad. And that's exactly why the death of Mufasa in this movie just, it hits you, because they do a really great job in setting up that relationship and making you as an audience emotionally invested in that relationship. To then see that son lose his dad in such a tragic way is low-key traumatizing, especially when I first watched this. I was probably like 3 or 4 years old. I'm pretty sure I cried, and I still cry when I watch this scene because, oof. My third pro to this movie is, of course, the music. So I was born in 1993, and I started dancing at around like 1997, 1998. And I remember even back then, there were lots of dance routines performed to the Lion King soundtrack. And because these songs have become such a fabric to a lot of people's childhoods, a lot of people's lives, they're just sort of an everyday thing. We kind of take these songs for granted in a way, but when you try to put yourself in the mindset of hearing these songs for the first time in 1994, these songs are great and they still slap. I, for one, just want to take the time right now to give a special shout out to Jason Weaver, who is the singing voice of young Simba. I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Iconic. That is like an iconic childhood anthem, and I feel like a lot of us owe large amounts of props and respect to our childhood icon and king, Jason Weaver. He did that. So my fourth pro to this movie is the fact that this kids animated film managed to introduce and explore really serious, complicated adult themes. So of course, these themes include death, dealing with the loss of a parent, depression. I feel like in hindsight, while watching this movie, I realized that Simba was understandably and reasonably depressed. Coping with hardships of life, learning from your past mistakes, learning to not allow the past to define you, knowing who you are and not forgetting that and the importance of not being afraid to step into your purpose here on Earth. Those are all very deep messages and themes and topics to think about. And the fact that this animated kids movie managed to introduce all of those themes in a way that was digestible to young audiences and still resonated with parents who watched these movies with their kids, that's a success. Like, that's amazing. And I feel like that's a large reason why a movie like The Lion King is going to remain timeless, because the story, the messages, the themes of this movie are all ideas that we at any point in our lives are going to relate to, and the older we get, the more we appreciate and understand these ideas. And my fifth pro to this movie is I just really appreciate that it's such a short, sweet, to the point movie. The running time of this movie, I believe, is only like an hour and 30 minutes, so 90 minutes in total. And I'm sure a large reason why they made it this way is because they probably thought that kids have a short attention span, so we need to try and tell this story in a very concise manner. But I appreciate that, especially, you know, given the times that we're in where it's kind of typical nowadays for a movie to be like 2 hours long. I just appreciate that they told this story in a very succinct type way. All right, and now the cons, or should I say the con? So my con for this movie is the fact that it's pretty unfortunate that there was only a handful of Black voice actors that were actually part of this movie. So I did my research, and the only Black voice actors and actresses in the original animated Lion King were James Earl Jones, who voiced Mufasa, Whoopi Goldberg, who voiced the hyena Shenzi, Nikita Calamay, who was the speaking voice of young Nala, Madge Sinclair, who was the speaking voice of Sarabi, and then you also had Robert Guillaume, who was the voice of Rafiki. So of the 14 main voice actors in the cast, only 5 of them were Black. When it came to the singing voice actors, only Jason Weaver, who was the singing voice of young Simba, and Laura Williams, who was the singing voice of young Nala, were Black. That's it. Yeah. The 90s? It again sucks that a movie, while yes, this was a movie about animals, it's set in Africa. It's unfortunate that you didn't reach out to Black talent in general to lend their voices to this movie. That would have been great, but I really think that was just a symptom of the times. As we could see with the CGI remake of The Lion King in 2019, a majority of your voice talent are Black actors and actresses, so good on Disney for trying to fix that at least. But yeah, I would still say in retrospect, that's a bit of a miss on Disney's part, but that's really my only con of this movie. All right, so my overall rating for this movie, of course, is an A+. It's no exaggeration that this movie was really groundbreaking for Disney. It was the most successful financial movie of the Renaissance era, and it's kind of ironic considering the fact that The Lion King was thought of as the B movie, whereas Pocahontas was the A movie during their development periods. To make this a bit more personal, I was a year old when The Lion King came out, so not old enough to see it in theaters, but I do know and remember as a fact that it was among the first movies that I ever watched growing up as a kid, and I'm pretty sure it shaped the way that I watched movies, the way I saw myself, the way I saw the world around me. To me, the original Lion King absolutely 1000% still holds up even after 25 years, and its legacy is going to continue to endure forever. And as someone who was born in the 90s, I wear with pride the fact that my era of Disney was the Renaissance era of Disney, and a large reason why I wear that badge with honor is because The Lion King is a part of that history. Well, alright, that's about it for this video. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and please turn on the notification button down below so you know when a new video from me comes out. And comment down below your thoughts on the OG, the original Lion King from 1994. Do you still cry when Mufasa dies? Spoiler alert. What's your favorite song off of this version of The Lion King? For me, I'm gonna say it's I Just Can't Wait to Be King, because Jason Weaver did that. Just let me know your thoughts on the OG Lion King, and also let me know if you've seen the new Lion King. And if this is your first video that you've ever watched from me, I actually reviewed the 2019 Lion King yesterday on my channel. I will link it up here just in case you haven't seen that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, everything I said was just my own personal thoughts and all my humble opinion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!